What's happening, Tim?
How is
Just
everything?
everything's okay. Yeah, it's been one of those days where we have met with fire and police yesterday, and that one's always a little nerve wracking. And then again, we sat with the whole city and fire, or not fire today, but police again today. So you just hope that they're happy with how we do things, and they said. You're growing, and we just, we have concerns, and let's address them. So there you go.
They giving you a hard time?
No, not really a hard time. It wasn't a hard time. It was just like, let's make sure we put this in place and this in place, and just the preventative measures, and make sure that we have a great event. They did say, if you ever have a big fight blowout or something blow out, it would be next year would be surf rodeo with no alcohol. So therefore, it wouldn't be fun. So
Yeah, you know
yeah,
what? Like I've been there a lot of times, and the crowds that come out are pretty good. I mean, every so often you get a stupid, but
yeah. And
it
then that
is.
guy could have just taken 3 shots of Fireball from Social Tap or Duke's or somewhere else, but you know,
You guys get the
the,
blame.
we'll get the blame. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. I just want to run down the history of surf rodeo and what to expect and what your future holds. Just in those just those topics is basically what I want to touch on.
Cool. Cool.
When you first decided, like, let's do an event, like, what happened with that? Like, what was the thought process in the infant stages of surf rodeo?
The beginning. The reason a friend of mine was putting on the street fair of Seaward, of Seaward, and so I committed to doing a surf contest, but I had been in enough surf contests in my life that just a normal strategy or normal kind of criteria that goes to a surf contest is was a little bit boring in my opinion. So after a few beers and going back and forth with the boys, we decided, let's make it a rodeo kind of format, and then one thing led to another, and we said, all right, well, we'll bring cowboy hats, and we'll, instead of riding your normal board, you're going to ride a board from the 70s and 80s, and so you won't be familiar with the board like in a bull on a rodeo. You draw that bull, and then you just good luck. So
Yeah.
so it was kind of that concept, and it worked. Everybody liked it, and it had a lot of soulful feeling to it, and it was a labor of love, and it's always been a labor of love.
It's amazing. There's a lot of people that are like that, like Ross in our community. Jim Salzer.
Yeah,
There's a lot of passion that goes on here, and
yeah,
in now you're like an icon, man. Surf rodeo will always live. Like it's always something that we're gonna remember as a staple of our town.
yeah. As long as we do a good job and we put a lot of smiles on people's faces, and there's some good laughs going on, why not? The thing that was cool is we took a 10-year break. We did 5 rodeos and took a decade off. But when we came back, and over those 10 years, I'd see a lot of people that, we would look at each other in the eye, and kind of smile or chuckle because we had rodeo history together. So when we announced that we were going to do another one and come back and do it, it was, it resonated with the people that have obviously been in the rodeo, and they were stoked that it was coming back after a decade. So there was a lot of fond memories from the years past. So when it came back in, it was like, holy shit, we're doing it again. Here we are. And so
What
that
was
was really important. That
because
was really special.
I feel the same way. Like, oh, I'm not sure what it is inside of me, whether it's the fear or the fear of failure or the pressure of being good. I do the same thing with the Ventura County Music Awards or with my show Red Light, or the magazine No Cover. There's always a part of me that has on the front
Completely scared
option.
shitless.
Well, that's like an option. Like at the end of every single season, which my season usually ends in September, I
Hmm.
always think like the first thing I think of is, am I gonna not do this next year? What was the
Yeah.
reason why you guys stopped for so long?
Why did we stop? Well, I lost a ton of money. I lost money every year, and then and on the last one, my dad got sick, um, and that was in September that we found out right after the rodeo, and then by the end of October, he had passed away. So then I was just like, I just I had had enough, and then my first family member out of my whole immediate family kind of deal died, and that was just trippy for me. So I ended up, decided to one take a year off. Then it was two, then three, then four, and then next thing you know, it's been 10 years. But in that 10 years, I also went out on Warp Tour and worked a lot of shows out there with Kevin. Um, Made a movie. Just kind of learned more about production and maybe budgeting and storytelling in different ways. But so when I came back, I was a little old. I always say old, little older, little wiser, but still dumb enough to do it. You know. In fact, I said, what did I say? It was 10 years old, 10 years older, 5 years wiser, but still dumb enough to do it.
what is
Meaning,
what has been your
non-listeners.
like fondest memory of the Warp Tour, or not the Warp Tour? Sorry, I got that on the brain.
Yeah.
Of the Surf Rodeo.
My fondest memory of Surf Rodeo is just kind of seeing when you're kind of those are little magic moments throughout the the crew, maybe whether it be friends or somebody that's just completely having a great time, and for that little brief second or minute or hour or whatever it is, you've done a pretty good job right there, and that could be on the weekend of the event, or um, the other part is the road to the rodeo. Shit, can you hold on one sec, Tim?
No problem.
So I'll be right back. Yo, hi Tim.
Hey.
So I was talking about the fond memories, right?
Yes.
Okay. The road to the rodeo is uh, and put every last bit of energy out there for really 6 months, and then it just intensifies every single month. It gets worse and worse, or better and better, depending on how you want to look at it. And then, but you've kind of like you've gone to, you've gotten in the trenches with some of your closest friends and workmates and so on. And then when you get to the rodeo, you don't even see people as much because everything's going crazy, but you might see them for a brief second in the day or whatever. And you're like, it's working, and there's my buddy, but I can't talk to him right now because he's driving a band to load him out or load him in, and I'm over here walking with environmental health or something. It doesn't matter, but it's just like, here we are, we're dancing now, and I don't know, I like that feeling.
I know what you're talking about because when we do the music awards, it just ramps up, ramps up, ramps up, and then when you're in the event and you're like, you finally get like maybe 1 minute or 1 second to sit back and understand what's going
Yeah,
on. And you stand by one of your buddies that are in the trenches with you. You're like, oh fuck, it's happening, man. We might
yeah,
we might get out of this alive still.
yeah. So So the rush is on in that way. And I mean, look, there's moments when you can take a peek around, you look around, and you go, all right, I can have a cold beer right now in the beer garden with my friend. But there's not a lot of those moments. You got to keep moving and keep going. But yeah, so that's kind of fun too.
Yeah.
You kind of look at each other and, well, we're doing it. It's going off right now. It's working.
Some of my favorite, like I have two favorite moments that I always remember. One of them is I was with my daughter, and we were throwing
Hmm.
rocks inside. We were just walking, like by the beach area, and just throwing rocks inside. And like that one day, like I'll never forget, you know. And then the one memory that really stands out is last year. You guys got Kyle to come, and that was, you
Right.
know, he had the number one song out for the summer, and
Yeah.
to see like just everyone go ape shit, you know, that was fucking insane to me.
Yeah. Yes, you're correct. That had a real rock star element of pandemonium, kind of. I mean, not too crazy, but and that one was really fun for me to see my kids so stoked. Here they are at the surf rodeo, and Super Duper Kyle, truly one of their favorite artists, is playing at surf rodeo, and that made me really, really. I got a lot out of that to see my kids so stoked. And I like Kyle a lot. I think he's a great dude. So
Yeah, and my daughter was there too, and she got to high five him, and like
yeah,
oh, I mean, it was just awesome for me, like in
yeah,
multiple ways, like to see our community really like, you know, have some pride and go crazy for this guy. And then, you know, seeing my daughter like so happy that she was able to meet like someone, I mean, probably the most famous person she's ever known in her little life, you know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was the same way. I mean, I don't. My kids have not met up with anybody, bigger than Kyle, and yeah, it was a one of hometown boy done good, and so it was just great.
Yeah, well, I mean, my kids have met like Robbie Krieger or Dave Mason, and they don't give a shit, you know. But Super Duper
Yeah.
Kyle, they were like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They could give two shits about old farts, but somebody, one of their contemporaries, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
What is what is this year looking like?
um, so this year I think that we do kind of combinations of two a lot. Like we've got, for example, let me look at the board. We've got a chalkboard here. We've got, um, we always paid homage to a local scene as best we can, and at the same time, try to do some international names that can kind of fit our budget.
Hmm.
Um, so you've got Rising Sun and Kyle Smith, who's a local boy who's really kind of blowing up.
Yeah, he is. He is getting some steam right now.
Yeah. And then there's a mutual Warp Tour friend that both Kevin and I know, and that's Beebs. Beebs and her Moneymakers. She fronts the band. Beebs fronts the band, and it's a ska scene.
Hmm.
And then you got Long Beach Dub All Stars and Fishbone closing it out.
Ooh.
And then to kind of warm it up, we got Raging Arb and the Redheads, which, as long as we're a band, we'll be playing.
Yeah.
And then for Sunday, we've got. We want to make sure that we kind of cover the masses, and it's music design, if you will. So we've got Highway Star,
Hmm.
this
Country.
this country, and then this great girl-fronted band out of San Francisco called Love Dimension. Then you've got the Untouchables and Yachtly Crew. Yachtly Crew's that
Always
fun
fun.
local band.
Always
Yeah,
fun.
and then Swayze.
Swayze, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a couple bands that have played. Well, Love Dimension played Coachella. We've got probably two or three bands that played Coachella and are coming to play with us. So Yeah, there's some influences from, we got a couple Warped influences through Kevin and we book, and then some bands that have played for a lot for like the Numbskull guys.
Mm-hmm.
So Eddie and John Scheimer. So John Scheimer jumps in and helps. We all sit around and collaborate and make sure that we've got some certain bands out of that genre, and we all sit around and talk and do the best that we can on booking these particular bands.
You guys always do a good job. Always do a good.
Thanks.
In Rising Sun, that's literally, I mean, on a personal level, that's one of my favorite bands in the area. Like
Nice.
What Levi writes about in his music is so awesome, and for that conscious mind, you know.
Wow, that's cool.
I just love it, and he has such a good voice, and but it's
Yeah.
a great lineup, man.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just there's a band that's called Ammo that in fact, Hartley was just on the other line, and he did a little background check on them, and I like what they're doing, and so after you and I are done, I'm going to call and lock them in. And they just got a new record that's coming out. They haven't signed with anybody yet. So it could be just a lot of different reasons why a band ends up at the rodeo.
I mean, it's all different lifestyles, different walks of life, and it's catering to everyone. And if the music's not your thing, guess what? There's other things to do there.
Totally. Yeah. We got the obstacle course race. The surfers all the finalists end up in this obstacle course race. Did you see that? Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God, it's funny. So yeah, I mean, we have a pie eating contest for kids. All these things are kind of like a bit Americana, or just would I like it? Do I think it's fun and funny, and yeah. So we do that, and it's show minded. Some kids eating pies is pretty funny to me. I love the hot dog eating contest, Nathan's, but that we have yet to do that. But this obstacle course race is it's beautiful because it's people that don't know how to do an obstacle course race, and they're surfers, and they're all in the final of they've just surfed their final, and now this obstacle course race is points based, so they can advance. They can end up being the champion by running a fast obstacle course, and so
that's awesome.
So it really, yeah, and then that's pure rodeo fashion where you kind of got to be good overall,
Yeah. Do people get upset if they lose? Like, oh, I won the surfing.
Say it again.
Do people get upset like if they lose and say, "Well, I won the surfing. How come they have this dumb shit?"
I think there's definitely a little. Let's say there's passion that they want to win it.
Nice. Okay.
But at the same time, we say, look, dude, this is the surf rodeo. You didn't win. You didn't win, and you can't get mad because to lose or to come in second or third or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's really about a bunch of guys girls having fun, and the true competitive element, we try to tone it down a tad and bring in humor.
Nice. I had I'm pretty much done, but I just wanted to retouch on two things. One of them, you said when you left, you went on tour with the Warped Tour. You learned. There's two things that you said in that really caught my ear. You said storytelling and production value. What are the key things that you've learned through that, and what are they? What is this storytelling? And because I'm sort of in the same like field of entertainment or whatever, and that really piques my interest.
Well, in the sense of going out and learning more, and just riding in the bus with whoever it would be, whether it's with Kevin or Steve Van Dorn and these guys, and watching and talking with them and listening and learning about budgets or, rights and wrongs of a band doing something stupid or, things like that. At the end of the day, you have to cover your expenses. And so you got to make sure you kind of stay ahead of the curve. So when I came back and did the first rodeo after 10 years, we needed to readjust how we were going to do it. So, and that plays into, great sponsor relationships, having to charge at the door to try to, and in order to charge at the door, at the gate, you better put good music on the beach. And if you're going to do that, you better tell a good story with your show. And your show is, what are we doing? It's a surf rodeo. So what is the story here? We got, again, you've got pie eating contests. You have bikini cowgirl. You have an obstacle course race. You have music that fits the variety of genres that people may like. So you're putting on a show and you're telling a story, and that is it. You better, if they're going to open up the book and read, they better like what they're reading. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, man. I like that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
The last thing is, off the record, is Kevin really doing away with this Warped Tour?
Well, yeah. There's been no indication that he's not going to continue.
I was talking with him a couple weeks back, or maybe a month ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed him, and he was being real selective on his words. And when I talked to him about it, he was like, "Well, I'd just rather not say." So now, we're all speculating.
There could be another thing where, hey, look, Surf Rodeo stopped for 10 years and then made a comeback. So we all know that Van's Warped Tour could easily make a comeback. Easily.
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's healthy stuff.
It is. Very.
Yeah. So people will realize how important the Vans Warped Tour is for somebody. So they're all going out to say goodbye. But if this thing ever were to come back, there'd be a lot of people stoked that it would come back. That's for sure. It's kind of dramatic. It's kind of drastic. It's like there's still a lot of different venues that thrive on the Warped Tour, but there's a lot of music festivals out there right now. So maybe it's just not adding up.
It's
overall.
That's my childhood, and I'm gonna be there, and I'm ready to say goodbye to that part of my life, and
right.
I'm a real pussy, man. I'm telling you, I'm super emotional, and so
right.
When I'm there, I'm pretty sure I'll shed a tear or two, man.
Oh, I think, yeah, rightfully so. I think it's a great part of growing up around. I've been around the Warped Tour for since the 90s. Almost, I don't know. I've been on a lot. So yeah, something about that, just the crew and the bands. You can go out on a Warped Tour and at the start of the summer, you may know 2 or 3 bands that you like, but at the end of the summer, you have made such great friendships and you've become a fan of probably 30 more bands that you never thought you'd like.
Is it hard to go home?
That's bitching.
I know that it's exciting to go home, but when it's coming to,
it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
The chaos stops.
Yeah, you just go to the beach and heal your liver.
JD, I love you, my man. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for on behalf of the community, and thank you for the interview. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, Tim. Anytime, my brother. And yeah, man. I know we got other stuff to do, so I'll see you soon, right?
Yes, we'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it.